I think that we just got to find our Michael Crabtree, and because I don't think it's going to be Quentin Johnson.
Are you going to give an allotment of money like you would give to L'Jarius Sneed?
Edge rusher 1 is on the team right now. I think so. I think it's Thule. Another day, another Chargers polarizing video. We're back on the channel again here to talk about whether or not the Chargers have their franchise wide receiver 1, cornerback 1, and edge rusher 1. And this is a clip from the Agree or Disagree segment that I posted earlier on in the week. That was all Chargers. A full hour of Chargers fans agreeing or disagreeing on various topics. I'm going to be bringing this segment to the channel regularly where I bring on a panel of fans from other places on the internet, and they all have to hash out some polarizing topics about their teams, about their favorite position, about their favorite player, or fill in the blank. So we're going in on it in this one on the Chargers, and whether or not the Chargers are set at these positions, agree or disagree. And all the Chargers fans on the panel had to make a choice. My panel today is with the Bolt Bros. Link in the description to all of their stuff. Tony Tucker from the MJT Football Podcast. You guys seen me work with him a bunch of times. I appreciate you guys for tuning into this clip. Please enjoy us debating whether or not the Chargers need these positions at these spots. All right, we're going to go kind of fast on these because they're all kind of the same topic, but just different positions. Okay, so agree or disagree. The Los Angeles Chargers currently have their wide receiver 1 on the roster, cornerback 1 on the roster, and edge rusher 1 on the roster. We're going to go one at a time, though. Wide receiver 1 on the roster, agree or disagree? Franchise, for the franchise future?
No.
Oh.
Cornerback 1?
Cornerback 1?
Corner. And edge rusher 1.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Did we all just agree there on all 3?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
we
on
disagreed on.
Yeah, we
the first
disagree on the first 2.
Yeah.
First 2? Okay, so who thinks that we do have our wide receiver 1 on the roster?
I do.
Kind of. I'm a kind of.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay. Kyle, go ahead. I'll let you go first here.
Look, man.
I'm guessing you're saying Lad McConkey, right?
Nope.
I'm not saying like McConkey. Like I'm backing my horse like with freaking Quentin Johnson, man. I think he has all the potential to be our wide receiver 1 and to be our franchise run wide receiver, but he's got obviously some development that he still needs to do, but I think he can be the guy. I believe him. I'm backing him. I know honestly a lot of people are like still bagging on him from the year 1 and stuff, but look, man, he has the potential there. We've seen it now. He's getting his confidence up. We've talked to Larry Miller about that a lot. And he just said all he needed to have is his confidence to be boosted, and he will be great, but he just needs that confidence, and he's getting it this year. He's every single touchdown has been to him. It seems like, well, obviously there's some to Lad, whatever that, but he's been getting a lot more touchdowns. He's getting a lot more play. He's feeling it now. I feel like as time goes on, we will see him actually shine forth, and I believe he's the guy. So that's kind of my opinion on the wide receiver.
I'd share that belief, man, because I'm rooting for him with that same kind of belief. But Tony, you're kind of in the middle here.
So here's the thing. It's like a, what is it, Voltron, or with our powers combined, we are Captain Planet shit. That's what it is. We're in a situation where we need multiple guys to form what is wide receiver 1, because depending on the situation, Quentin can be a very good receiver. Quentin could be a guy that's 1,200 yards and 8+ touchdowns a year. Lad is the guy where it's like, we need you to be moving the chains. We need that. They both have the ability for explosive plays. If you're this idea that wide receiver 1 has gotten blown out of proportion because it's fantasy football is smothering the minds of people. Yeah. But all the best Patriot teams in the world had Gronk and Edelman and Chris Hogan chips in, and it's or whether it was Wes Welker and Randy Moss, and you have to have multiple things for what the situation calls for. Very few teams get to have Justin Jeffersons, get to have Jamar Chases, Calvin Johnsons. That's why these guys are unique freak Hall of Famers. Even a team like the Eagles is hey, we have to pay A.J. Brown and we have to pay Devonta Smith And we have to go sign Saquon Barkley because we need all of these things, even after we just gave our quarterback $250 million. So, is the wide receiver one on the team? Yeah, but it's a combination of the two. And by the end of the year, these two guys are going to break out. We need Palmer to stay healthy enough to be able to work double moves down the field or fill in on some of these shorter slot, find the zone plays. And we need Chark back to work down the field. We need Dede to stay healthy. I think after the break, we could see a few more things where it's like, hey, let's try to lighten up this box a little bit more in that element. Because Roman wants to push the ball downfield, but you have to have a quarterback who's healthy enough to be able to get under center to make the play action work. And the guy went from plantar fascia to high ankle sprain. So we don't even know how he wants to move the ball down the field. And he is by far the best thrower, the best quarterback that has been in this system. And eventually we're going to get a chance to see it, operating at a super high level. So just be calm and be patient. It's going to be great.
That is a good point, Tony. That even Harbaugh's, you mentioned the Patriots, but even the 49ers team that went to the Super Bowl, it was Crabtree, who, is playing in a time where you got Megatron and Jordy Nelson and Deshaun Jackson and all these guys.
Mario Manningham, they got him from the Giants, was on that team that went to the Super Bowl. Randy Moss was on his last leg on that team that went to the Super Bowl for the 49ers. They made a great receiving room out of the bunch of people that were all there. But again, those 49er teams were unbelievably healthy. You never saw Joe Staley going down in that thing. You didn't see Justin Smith missing a bunch of games. We need to get these guys healthy and back on the field playing, and that's how you start stacking shit up.
100%. I'm with you. I think that we just got to find our Michael Crabtree, and it should be Quentin Johnston. It should be. But the reason I'm saying disagree is just because I don't think it's going to be Quentin Johnston. I do think that, Johnston's a good player. He's a guy that's going to contribute a lot this season, obviously, with the injuries we've had and what he's done already. I think that there still is some issues that we even saw coming out of the draft before the rookie season went haywire. That to me, even at camp and at practice, I see as issues, and it's just tough for me to believe that he's going to ever get to a point where he's well-rounded enough that his touchdown doesn't need to be schemed wide the hell open to become a possibility, that his deep shot doesn't need to be schemed wide the hell open, because it feels like when anything's contested, when it feels like anything's one-on-one with Quentin Johnston, needs to beat a guy off the line, get a slant to get us a 3rd and 3 conversion. He's not Michael Crabtree level even when it comes to that. And I think Josh Palmer can be that guy. But Josh Palmer can't stay healthy. That's the problem. He can't. There's no reason to think he will in the future if he hasn't his entire career. Ladd McConkey has wide receiver 1 potential. I believe in that. He just has to be that next level small guy for it to result in him being the franchise core number 1 option. I think that we are one addition next offseason away from the wide receiver room being fully complete. When we look at a post Chark, and now I'm starting to think possibly post Palmer depth chart here. One more receiver in there as the top guy, moves QJ down 1. Ladd's primarily our slot receiver. That to me, I think it would be absolutely beautiful. But Andrew, you're kind of with me here?
Yeah, I agree with Tony and Mike. Yeah, both you guys. I'll add a little more to that. Malik Neighbors, after I think has 345 yards combined. Total for the Chargers wide receiver room is only 293, right? So, and that's the wide receiver room. And so you can make an argument that, we don't have a wide receiver 1. Now, do we need a wide receiver 1? I don't think we do in this offense, right? You've said it perfectly that the Niners did not have a wide receiver. I mean, they had Crabtree, was okay. But this offense is built on methodically moving the ball down the field, leaning on the run game. And then if you need to throw the ball, you throw the ball. But that's where having good wide receivers is a good thing. The argument could be that our wide receivers are just not creating a lot of separation where they need to really giving Herbert help. But I think that'll come in time, as I think Tony said as well, too. So do we have a wide receiver 1? I think the answer is no. I think we got a lot of wide receiver 2s and 3s. And we're hoping that's going to be enough for this season for us. But again, the creativity, is there. I think the screen game has worked out fairly well. I think, we should lean on it a little earlier than we did towards the end of the game last week. But yeah, we definitely don't have a wide receiver 1 on this team.
I am with you though, Kyle. I just want to say this because I'm not shitting on QJ. I do think the size, the speed, it's there. It's there. There's just something else. Some other things that aren't.
I think it's a
there.
confidence thing.
It's his confidence.
Yeah.
That's it. He just needs to get
Confidence
his.
and just straight up, he struggles to catch the ball with his hands above his head and over his back shoulder, which is like 101. I can do that.
Yep.
But Tony,
There was right in front of me in the end zone right before the third quarter. There was a clear PI where the guy's not playing the ball, runs through. Quentin, the ball should have been down at the 1, whatever. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I even looked at a Chiefs fan. I was like, come on. He goes, no, that was PI. Fourth quarter, turnabout, fair play. Gilman gets called for a penalty.
Yep.
The ball gets moved up to the 1 yard line right in front of me. And it's like they got the call that they wanted. Now, I don't like to get in there and harp on the referees or whatever, but like people are feeling a lot different about Quentin Johnston if he continues to stack up these games. So when he has a game where he has 1 catch for 9 yards, everybody gets mad. I always do this old guy thing where I'm like, name your top 10 best wide receivers of all time. Let's go through and talk about all the Super Bowls that they won. From that list, it's usually Jerry Rice and Tyreek Hill, of the top 10 wide receivers of all time. So that is not a precedent that you need on a team to win a Super Bowl. What you need is a team that can win in the different aspects of a football game. And I believe that they have that on this roster. Even Hayden Hurst is getting open. There was a play in the beginning of the game. You go back and watch the L-22. I was sitting in the L-22. He throws the ball deep to Quentin to give him a shot. Hurst comes open, wide open over the middle for a big gain, 30, 40-yard chunk on that drive. And it's like, it could have been there. He just missed it. Eventually, he won't miss that.
Yep.
yeah,
Agreed.
it's right there. We're like right there. It's just got to connect. It's week 4. We're getting into the mid-season form, as they like to say in the football business. All right. The next one was cornerback 1. Who agreed that we do have our current franchise cornerback 1 on the roster? I don't think so.
I did. Yeah.
Andrew, no, right? I'll go first in this one. I am a giant Asante Samuel Jr. fan. You can ask Tony. I have backed this guy since the day they announced his name after that pick, because of how much I liked him coming out of college, how much I liked him as a rookie, how much I still like him to this day. He just isn't quite built as a shutdown cornerback 1. He doesn't have the tools, the speed, and the size. He has the mentality. He has the skill set. Like, he has the technique. But to just go out there and lock down Devontae Adams when we need him to go out there and lock down Devontae Adams. When I think of a true cornerback 1, I think of the guy that I send out to guard Devontae Adams in one-on-one coverage with the game on the line, which you're not going to do to your guy very often, but that's what I think of when I think of cornerback 1. I wouldn't trust anyone on our roster right now. I do like what we got going in the cornerback room. It's another situation where I feel like we're one ad at the top of the depth chart away from it being a complete group. I'm worried we're going to lose Asante to free agency. We'll see what happens, because Harbaugh's going to want someone out there that can tackle big running backs in open space or take on, pulling blockers if he needs to take on a blocker, and he just might not want to chip in the money towards Asante Samuel with his size and stuff. And Asante is going to want some money, man. He's had good seasons. He's produced a lot of turnovers. I just don't know if it's really going to gel for Harbaugh, what he wants at cornerback 1 specifically. Tony, I'll let you go next. We need a corner.
Let Andrew go first.
I'll let you go, Andrew.
A lot of people what to say.
Yeah, I'll say this. Asante, I love him to death. You're right. The dog, he's got plenty of dog in him, but he's undersized, man. Look at that one. Was it last week? It wasn't versus the Chiefs. It was versus the Steelers. He went for the pick, missed it, caught the ball. 20-yard explosive play right down the side, completely flipped the game at that moment. And by the way, we interviewed Asante Samuel on our podcast, and he's awesome. Like, he's a fantastic guy.
I love him.
Is he a cornerback 1? I think the answer is no. I think he does everything right, but he's not a very good tackler. And, he kind of goes for the ball a little more than he goes for the tackle sometimes too. So he's got to clean that up 100%. Fulton is not either. I think Fulton's very good. I think he's as good, if not better, than Asante Samuel in a different way, but he's had injury issues too as well. So I sometimes sit back and say, we're so close. I think we have two cornerback 2s is what I think we have. Yeah. Right. And I think Dean Leonard and these other guys just here, Taylor, are pretty good. I think Tarheeb could be good too. But I don't see it there yet. I just don't see us there yet. So
You know what's crazy is that
need.
that Zont is probably a near all pro slot corner.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Go ahead, Tony.
He doesn't want to play there. So I
No way he
approach
does.
He does not want to play there.
I mean, when you're inside there, you got to be a willing tackler, and he'll do it. He doesn't like it. I approach this question like this: are you going to give an allotment of money like you would give to L'Jarius Sneed? Like, are you going to give that $25 to $30 million to either one of these guys on the roster? No. And then, secondly, are you going to ask this guy to say, "Hey, we're bringing the house on this one, and I feel comfortable leaving you in a man situation"? Because if you go back to Jesse Minter's time in Michigan, I'm a big Michigan Wolverines fan. Grew up in Michigan. We don't need to go down that road. Will Johnson, 6'2", going to be a top pick in there. He's a guy that you're like, hey, we're bringing extra pressure on this one. We got Will out on one side. We're going to have our safety play over on the top side of blanket on the guy's name who got drafted this year. I think he's in Carolina or something. We will figure it out. We'll feel fine doing this thing, and we're going to bring a little bit extra pressure. They don't have that guy on the roster. We're not seeing as much of – we're seeing creative stuff from Minter, but we're not seeing, hey, we're sending 6 on this player. We're sending 7 because we're going to leave Jasir one-on-one here, and we're going to leave Fulton and this guy out on islands here and just play one high or something like that. And the other 7 guys are all going after the QB. We're not seeing that. That's what I think of when I think of CB1. Yep. I don't like to give these guys the labels, but it's like, what can you do for the team? And neither one of them, I don't think they feel comfortable putting him in that situation or paying him that kind of money.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Well said. Well said.
Kyle, CB1, who do you believe in, bro? Who is it? Tell me. There's a dog in there somewhere, huh?
I'll say this. I think you guys are misunderstanding the question.
Okay.
Because you guys are all saying you want your CB1 to be a top 10 corner in the league. And we don't have a top 10 corner in the league right now, but we have a CB1. Asante Samuel is a CB1. He's able to shut down Devontae Adams. Devontae didn't do jack squat during our Raiders game. He had like 50 yards, so he did great. He shut him down as best he could. And 100% he can do it. Yeah, he's not like Deion Sanders out there. He's not like a lockdown, no-fly zone kind of thing. Yes, he's a little shorter, whatever, but he can handle it. No problem. He is 100% our CB1 right now. But I do believe that Tarheeb...
You trust him going forward. That's the main thing. You trust Asante going forward. Okay, cool.
Right. I would actually franchise him, trusting him going forward, because he has the juice. You
might be onto something though with the franchise thing there. One more year, that might be something.
Yeah. I mean, because here's the thing too: is like I think back to the Jacksonville game and the playoff game. He got 3 interceptions.
Yeah. That
first half, all him. He freaking handled freaking homeboy like no one else. So he's the guy, guys. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And obviously, I like Tarheeb still. Looking at more tape from him. Looking at Cam Hart, I actually liked Cam Hart going before the playoffs, before they even drafted him. So they have potential to be the other side of the wing too there, So I'm just saying, guys, is you got to understand, a CB1 does not have to be a top 10, top 5 all-pro cornerback 100% of the time. And so he's out there and he's ready for it and he's able to do it, I believe.
So you would give him $25 million? You would sign him to one of these big deals, one of these $20 million plus.
Again, that's a top 10 quarterback deal.
Yeah,
we're not. He's not a top 10 cornerback.
But the thing is like with the recent corner for the Falcons just got signed, AJ Terrell. I feel like he's on a similar conversation with him, and Terrell just got paid 25. That's mind-boggling to me off of a guy that. There's no offense to AJ Terrell. I think he's a solid corner in this league, a starter for sure. Like you're saying, Kyle, he's a starting corner, yes. But when we talk about the top 20 corners in the league, he's nowhere near, in my opinion, and he's getting paid as the highest paid corner in the league. I think Asante is in that range, and for that reason, that's why I'm thumbs down in this, because I don't want them to pay him $25 million by any means, and that's why you might be onto something. Maybe he's the franchise tag guy. Yeah, it cost you a shit ton of money for that one season, but who knows what happens that one season? Maybe the
Right.
price drops and you can get
Right.
a better contract the next season. I also look at it as, can you immediately replace Asante Samuel Jr. in next year's draft?
Right.
Yep.
That's a big question too. And when it comes
Or
to salaries,
pick up
too,
somebody in free agency too, right? Off waivers,
Right.
free agency. You know?
You probably could.
Oh.
He's not and it's hard to find corner too, to give
Yeah.
some credit. Like, that's one of the hardest positions to find right now in the league. All right, let's keep this moving. So we're running out of time. Edge rusher 1 is on the team right now. I think so. I think it's Thule.
Oh, 100%.
Pretty confident that Thule is the future of our pass rushing unit. With Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa fizzling out here over the next couple of years. I think Khalil Mack will retire with the Chargers. That's something I predicted a few years ago when we were talking about potentially what's going on with his contract and Joey Bosa's contract going forward. So I think once we are removed from Mack, Thule's stepping into the number 1 guy. I assume if Bosa keeps getting hurt, he's going to be out of here by that time frame as well. Anything to add, Andrew? I'll let you go first here to the pass rush here. Thule is our future pass rusher, our future franchise pass rusher.
I would. I'll add one little thing about Asante, just so you know. He's ranked 35th in targets allowed and 33rd in receptions allowed right now. So he's considered,
kind of like in that range you're talking about, pretty much.
A very, very middle of the pack cornerback. Now, again, anyways, to my point is that he's good, not great, right? But you know, and that's the difference, you know. So it's PFF scores, right? But you know, I'm not a huge fan of PFF, but it is interesting looking at those numbers. As far as Thule's concerned, Thule is the future. The good thing about Thule is that he's done a great job of learning from Mack, Bosa, and now Bud, right? We got Bud for another year. Mack will probably retire a Charger, I think 100%. But Bosa, who knows what's going to happen with him? I mean, if we could just keep these 4 guys on the field, good God, we're that good, right? You know, but Thule's absolutely the guy. The cool thing about him, too, is he can also play defensive line, and he plays edge, right? So he's up and down the line a lot. So there's a lot of versatility there. So he's 100% our edge 1 for sure.
Yeah. And when I think of edge 1, I'm thinking of the 5-tool guy. He can stop the run. He can rush the pass at similar levels. And I feel Thule's already pretty much there. He's going to get better as he goes.
Yeah, he's had 0 injuries also. I think he played, you know, I don't think he's had a single injury, which is incredible. You're like, oh my God.
And his engine is nuts. Tony, I'm going to pass it to you here to continue to applaud our great Samoan edge rusher.
He sets the edge. He can chase down plays on the backside, and he, like they said, he gets pressure on the outside, in the interior. He's a Harbaugh guy, right? Like that's something that he looks for. The play style that he has. If you go back and look at any of the guys who played on the D line that are at Michigan that are currently in the league now, he fits that mold perfectly. I also liked what I saw from Brash. I don't think that they're ready and comfortable enough to roll him out there, but if he can stick around on the roster, he can be somebody that's there, and they will find ways to develop like in that area. Like they will stress those two, like trenches will always be what he cares about. It will never deviate. So next year when we get to this conversation in the draft and everybody's like, I really want this wide receiver from fill in the blank state university. You're not getting him. So stop talking about it. Like, honestly, you guys could be excited about Colston Loveland from Michigan, who he loves, who's somebody who's willing to block and is an elite like level tight end pass catcher who would elevate Herbert in certain areas, especially in the seams. But it's most likely going to be like, hey, we're drafting late 20s, hopefully 32, but it's going to be like D-line. It's going to be offensive line again. It could be like the best center. It could be the best interior defensive. It's going to be that area they're going to focus on.
Yeah.
And we've seen it the last 2 weeks, guys. We've seen it the last 2 weeks. For us, on one side, our front seven kept us in that game pretty much, even weakened. And then the week before that, the Steelers front seven, they're edge rushers. They eventually take over that game. It can carry your entire team when shit's hitting the fan on other parts of the roster, in the secondary, on offense. And I agree with you, Tony. I think that as much as we would love tight end or running back, they're going to do that in the middle rounds because they trust what they can get in the middle rounds is going to fill in to be George Kittle, who was drafted in the 3rd round, or Travis Kelce, who was drafted in the 3rd round, or name them all basically, because it seems like all the tight ends that get drafted early don't work out. Thank you guys so much for coming on. to the first segment here, the agree or disagree on NFL Mike's Corner. Shout out to the Bolt Bros one more time. Kyle, Andrew, thank you guys so much for coming on. Kyle, you want to plug the podcast real quick one more time before we go? I said it at the beginning of the show, but if you guys didn't get it, make sure you go to the Bolt Bros podcast. Links in the description. If you're a Chargers fan, you will love their channel. It literally is like a family get together on every episode.
It is. Yeah, because we're real brothers.
Yeah,
We're
that's right.
Real brothers from
we
the
are for
same
real
mother.
brothers. That's right. From the
Same
same
mother.
mother. Yeah, man. We do our live shows every Saturday before the game, and they do it after the game, and then we also do a little bit of a Madden game during the week. We go live. Then we also constant daily content on YouTube, and catch us out there. Like, we like to have a good time because we're not here for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Ayo.
Yeah. That's how you gotta do it right there. And then my friend Tony Tucker hosts MJT Football Podcast. We are bringing to you guys, Chargers fans that are watching this, some new merch. If you guys want it, Fit Down just launched. You see my Thorbert shirt in the back there. You see my Thorbert shirt hat on. We have a hard Bolt character as well. Tony's got his hoodie back there. Chargers fans, fifthdown.shop. Go and check that out. I'll put some overlays in here for you guys to check out. Tony, anything else to say to the Chargers fans that they can sit on for the bye week, to really just you're the king of optimism. So I need you to cheer these people up.
I have no doubt in my mind things are going to work out just spectacularly for this offense. Just be with it. And when it does, you're all going to be like, this is what I was saying the whole time anyways. So just keep saying it right now on the internet. Your negativity does nothing for the team, for other fans, for nothing. Just find ways to be positive about the situation.
It's more enjoyable that way.
Yeah.
As well. But, all right, guys, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. How will the rest of the NFL's fan bases and teams react when the Los Angeles Chargers win their first Super Bowl this year? I guess sooner rather than later. The ball definitely won't lie. Thank you for tuning in to another NFL Mike video. Now it's time to go make more football friends or go and compete in the Mike's Pickems Challenge or against me in daily fantasy football challenges by joining my completely free NFL group chat. Or head to fifthdown.shop and check out and see if we got your team's newest designs. Or now you can simply rep your favorite players without having to wear another team's gear. And then tag us in pictures of you wearing your Fifth Down merch for a shout out in the next episode of NFL Mike's Corner and help us reach our goal of getting 1,000 NFL fans wearing Fifth Down. Or you can head to the next NFL Mike video by clicking it. It's on your screen. Go ahead.